WNBA, a league that struggled in attendance and TV ratings and relevancy since it was born 30 years ago in April 1996, when the first games played in June of 97. Now, a lot of folks might not know this, but the WNBA has operated at a net loss every single year since it was launched, with the NBA subsidizing its sister league to the tune of tens of millions of dollars annually. In fact, if not for the NBA covering the WNBA's operating deficit every year, it likely would have folded a long time ago. It almost did. But lately, things have been improving a bit, with the addition of some new and popular players, including Indy's Caitlin Clark, who's given attendance and the league a boost. But now, the issue over transgender players has turned the league into the laughingstock of the internet, thanks in large part to two former NBA players who say they're ready to suit up and hit the court with the ladies. More on that in a moment. This trans controversy started last month when outspoken Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham stood up for young girls and women during an interview with ESPN, saying while she supported the trans community in general, she did not think it was fair for them to be allowed to compete against natural-born females. Cunningham said she wanted to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men. What she said isn't controversial. It's common sense. Men are built different from women, naturally bigger and stronger with more stamina and 15 times the testosterone, a higher percentage of skeletal muscle mass and larger muscle fiber sizes, and a lower percentage of body fat. I could go on, but bottom line, men typically have 10 to 30% greater strength, speed, and power. This is one reason women's sports were created in the first place, so girls could compete against girls and enjoy a level playing field with a fair chance of winning their own medals and scholarships in a league of their own. This is why the WNBA was formed, the Women's National Basketball Association. But after Sophie Cunningham spoke out, small pro-trans protests started popping up outside some of the WNBA venues, and one team owner was suspended for 5 games after confronting a couple of young girls, Sophie fans, who were wearing XXXY chromosome t-shirts while holding signs thanking Cunningham for having their backs. And then a couple of WNBA players actually said they'd welcome transgender teammates. Yes, actual women playing professional basketball, saying it was okay for men claiming to be women to be on their teams. Which, if you think about it, is one of the dumbest things ever said by a pro athlete, since allowing men on the court could lead to the WNBA becoming an all-male or nearly all-male dominated league. If all you have to do to qualify is say you identify as a woman, well, every retired NBA player, semi-pro player, and college player with pro dreams could join the league and be superstars. This isn't conjecture, it's fact. And by the way, not to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. I said all this in a monologue more than a year ago when the controversy about allowing trans athletes to compete with girls first started. I predicted if this was allowed, the WNBA would eventually be filled with male players. And as it turns out, because of the league's weak and very loosely defined eligibility rules, it is allowed for now, prompting former players Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White to both publicly announce their intent to enter the 2027